school district. Yeah. 18. It's close. I don't think it's going to be aired. It's just being done for, the recipients. Yeah. Yeah, I think everybody will.
Hall of Fame committee member, former coach of our varsity baseball team, Grover Recipient, to introduce the recipient of our Distinguished Service Award for 1998. Tommy Brown.
I would like to welcome all the new faces. It's nice to see a new group. Always nice to meet a lot of friends over the years that people have shown up. It's my pleasure, it's my honor to introduce this year's 1998 Distinguished Service Award. Over the past years, we have honored business person, doctor, a couple of school administrators. This year we're going to honor, I don't think this man has a job title. At least that's what the school administrators told us. As an ex-head coach of baseball and football, I was continually asked, what does this man do? What are his job functions? I would go back to the various principals, and Ernie was there, and try to inform them of all the things that Ernie Lawrence would do, not only for the kids, but for the coaches. Finally, they came up with a job title, equipment manager. That's his official title. Ernie came to the scene at Cherry Hill in 1960. He retired in 1995. Over those 35 years, I don't know of any boy or girl that played an athletic sport that didn't know Ernie. That didn't sit down with Ernie, spend time and various conversations and lectures about what to do and how to do it. Not only a friend of the athletes, but again, as an ex-head coach, he was truly a friend to all the coaches. So Ernie, let me introduce you to the 1998 Distinguished Service Award. Ernie?
Good evening. Well, I'd like to thank everybody that had something to do with the situation. I enjoyed myself, I think, working with the kids. And I just kind of thought they were my friends or my buddies. And I helped the coaches out. I guess I showed them how I thought about different things, what they had to go through, and enjoy it because it's something I felt I had to do. I enjoyed the coaches, the administrators sometimes. They used to worry about what I did, but I can't remember a time we didn't have a uniform or we didn't have a baseball, football, basketball uniform. On the field, had the guys ready to go, I would go with it. I don't think I missed a football game. One of those things. It's telling on me now because I kind of feel it go on, but it was worth it. Delaware Township, Cherry Hill. I think Delaware Township I enjoyed more because I knew people from all over the township. When we come east and west, it's a little different. And
Thanks, Ernie. Mr. Philip I. Snuffy Parsons, graduate of Delaware Township, class of 1960, and a member of the Athletic Hall of Fame, class of 1994, has provided us with a yearly scholarship, $500 in the name of his mother, Mrs. Catherine Parsons. Will Dr. Walter Brown, recording secretary, and Mrs. Parsons, please come to the podium and help to make this presentation to Ray Donald Harris, our 1998 recipient of this prestigious award.
I do want to say good evening to each and everyone this evening. First of all, I want to thank Mr. Gordon and Ms. Gordon for bringing me the transportation. I do want to say, my son said, "Mom, you go do it." I said, "Well, why don't you go do it?" He said, "No, you're in Merchandale, I'm in Chicago." So I said, "Well, okay." But I do want to thank my son for giving something back to the township. Giving something back. He got an education, and it was beautiful. And I was able to give someone else. And Ray, I do want to say, God bless you. I want you to study, do your best. Always do that. And you can do it. You can see it. And this is so good. Thank you. Thank you.
What a nice honor. I always love doing this. I didn't get I did not have the privilege to teach Ray, but I had him in the study hall and had a chance to hang out a little bit, and I certainly have seen him on many occasions burst through the line and score and do all those other neat things. Varsity letter in football, 2 years. Varsity letter for track, 2 years. Second team all conference, second team all running back. What I was really proud, I thought there might have been a co-champ or a co-MVP this year. He was the most valuable player of a very, very successful West football team. Tied the school record in the 100-meter dash, 10.5 seconds, and is headed to Fairfield University in Connecticut. Another Jesuit school, not to make a plug, but way to go, Ray. Myself a graduate of St. Joe's. 2.5 GPA and a wonderful SAT score. I mean, he just did a great job, and I certainly want to congratulate him also. Way to go, Ray.
I would just like to thank my parents, my mom, my dad, Coach Britton, football, Coach Honey Deering in the back for track, and all my teammates in both seasons. And thank everybody for putting this together. Thank you.
Will Mr. Thomas Canavo, Mrs. Gail Thomas Long, please come to the podium. Mr. Thomas Canavo, teacher, guidance counselor, coach, and administrator, serving the Cherry Hill school system from 1957 until retirement in 1983, has provided us with 2 yearly $500 scholarships in memory of his deceased wife, Anna Mae Thomas Canavo. Mrs. Anna Mae Thomas Canavo is also an integral part of the school system, serving the secretarial staff from 1958 to 1981. She was a strong supporter of the students, parents, and faculty of Delaware Township, Cherry Hill West, and Woodcrest schools during her many years of service. After her retirement, she resided in Elton, Florida, but her first memories and finest memories were of Cherry Hill. She's a true friend of all of us who knew her and loved her. Presenting these awards will be Mrs. Gail Thomas Long, class of 1963, Cherry Hill West, daughter of Mrs. Ann Thomas Canavo, and her husband, Tom Canavo. Dr. Walter Brown will introduce 2 recipients, Jessica Vernon and Quinn Chan, as the 1998 recipients of these awards.
I have asked to have just a moment to speak of someone who has been a friend of mine since I taught him in high school in 1946. That was the first time I came out of the U.S. Air Force, and been a gentleman who I worked with, taught with, and worked with under Coach Cap Baker at Haddon Heights High School. That was Ernie Lawrence. He well deserves what we have given to him tonight, and he has been a personal friend since we met again from Haddon Heights to Cherry Hill High School West. Ernie, God bless you for everything that you've meant to us in athletics and in scholarship and in your thoughts for doing everything with truth and fairness. Thank you, Ernie.
Thanks, son. Just a quick word about our 2 recipients. When they were chosen, I asked them to give me a short resume, and certainly they tried, and I thought I could put it in the vault, but they've done so much that I still need my crib sheets. For Jessica, she was varsity field hockey, basketball, and lacrosse 3 years. First team all-conference in field hockey, 96 and 97. Senior all-star in basketball. Second team all-conference lacrosse in 98. Senior all-star in lacrosse, field hockey, and basketball captain. And the Curry Post Player of the Week in field hockey for 1997. One of the weeks, obviously, and varsity club vice president in 96, 97. Varsity club president, which has to do a lot with community service in 97 and 98. On and on and on. And certainly, just recently, when we had our special awards, this national ceremony was that night. He did a fantastic job. And Mr. Gertz, who's involved in the varsity club, talked about the Special Olympics program and how much Jessica went into that. Fantastic. In terms of academics, top 9% of her class, National Honor Society. She'll be studying at BU, Boston University, and she plans to major in physical therapy. So I certainly turn this over to Tom now so you can give her the award. Miss Jessica Herman.
Jessica, before I give you this award, I'd like to make a little statement about the work of scholarship recently I had the privilege through Rotary to be the chairman of the committee for the scholarships at Palmetto High School in Palmetto, Florida. And there is nothing more convincing and more worthwhile than knowing that young people who have today made their place in life through the reality of scholarship presentations. I now ask Gail Lund, Ann's daughter, to make the presentation. Thank you very much.
I would just like to thank the Canavo family for creating this scholarship. I know it'll go to good use, and I appreciate it greatly. I would also like to thank Dr. Kozloff and the board of directors and selection committee for the scholarship. Also, Mr. Jordan. I know that I appreciate this a lot, and it will definitely be good use for me next year. Thank you.
This is one of those little did you know stories, and very short. Our family have known the Tams for many, many years. My son and Quinn went to Beechwood actually together in preschool, and it's just neat to see them graduating and doing really neat things. And it's just great to see this. And Quinn will be involved in certainly athletics all the way through, I'm sure, especially at Brown University. So these are some of the accomplishments that he has had. He was similar in the sense that there's so many things they've done. Varsity soccer, 2 years, all conference. The coaches all-star, senior all-star game. Varsity baseball for 2 years, one of the conference champions. In those years. This year, especially in basketball. But throughout his career, 3 all-conference choices, 2 all-star awards, senior all-star, the Al Camino Player of the Week. I was lucky enough to have Quinn in class. A U.S. History 2A beach course. I'm sure there were times when he'd say he might not have been so lucky, but he certainly learned to get along, and he was fantastic. And it's interesting that his seminar on work in the 1920s and Thomas Mellon and economics, when I saw his resume, that he thinks about going on to Brown University and studying business and economics, because he certainly did a fantastic job at that seminar and impressed the class certainly as much as me. Also a member of the National Honor Society and the Student Government Organization Vice President for 1997-1998. I present Quinn Tam.
Quinn, we've had a wonderful time to talk with you during the beginning of this meal. Gail has expressed a specific interest in your accomplishments, and once again, I will ask, Gail, please make the presentation. Thank you, Quinn.
I'd also like to thank the Canado family, Mrs. Lund, Mr. Jordan, Dr. Brown, Dr. Kozloff, the board of directors, the selection committee, the coaches that I played for here at West, my parents, and all the people that are involved in this day, because it's a great experience, and I'll put the scholarship to use. Thank you.
The work of our committee is highlighted each year when we take the time and effort to review the possibilities of these scholarships. That's what it's all about, kids. We like to see them go right up the line. No matter what their activities are, we're very proud of it. That's why we have this association, to bring back kids. The recipients you'll hear this evening, at one time they were just little guys running around. And it's nice to see them, see how they develop. We're proud of our school system. We're proud of everything they do. This time, I would like to bring to the podium Coach Lynn McNitt, who will introduce the 1964-65 undefeated girls swimming team. Okay?
Thank you very much. I've been told by my team many times that I would never need a microphone, but we'll try and use it. They heard me at the bottom of the pool for years. I'm gonna really hot stuff tonight. I threatened to do this, so I'm going for the record, guys. So if you get out your stopwatches and start timing now, we'll see what we come up with. In my lifetime at Cherry Hill West, starting at Cherry Hill, we have a very nice situation where I get to have students for 3 months of the year, and they become basically my children for that amount of time. It's nice to see them grow up and go on and have all their families and everything, but the bad part is I don't get to know what happens to you too often. Twice in my time here the last few years, we've gotten together, and it's a pleasure and it's a great joy each time I get to see you again. So maybe it won't be 5 years next time, and maybe we'll get a few more people to come out of the woodwork, and we're still looking for a few of you, so we'll find out where they are. There's sort of a follow the match the dots, or follow the dots here. I'd like these people, as I talk about them, to come up. So we'll start with Lynn Goldner, who was my captain of this team, and Lynn was also the girl who would go scouting with me. And we had a situation to scout the teams. Now, for you people who are here, it was a little different in our days. We had 4 teams competing at the same time. We had 2 varsities and 2 JVs competing at the same time. We had such great events as the 75-yard IM or the 60-yard IM because girls weren't strong enough to do the butterfly. When we did do the butterfly, it was only 2 at a time. We did it in heats because 4 girls didn't fit across the pool. The pool was too narrow. And so we would swim heats to the butterfly. It was very, very different. But Lynn and I would go to the swimming meets to take time. And I'm very well known that I cannot start a stopwatch and stop it at the same time. It doesn't work. I forget either to start it or to stop it. So after the first time we went to scout the team, Lynn, in her Cherry Hill West sweatshirt, just went up and stood with the other managers. There were 13 managers instead of 12 up there, but the officials never seemed to notice it. They just came and read all the time, and we just wrote them down, so it was very easy to get the time. We won anyway, so. No competition. So it was a very good year, and these were some of the things. Now, Lynn left Cherry Hill West, went to college, and then went over to that on the other side of town. But we can't really say that because at one point in my career, I coached both teams at the same time. I was coaching Cherry Hill West and Cherry Hill East in the same pool at the same time. And then later on, when Lynn started teaching at East, she took over the team from a lady who was a hockey lacrosse coach who drove the bus and learned how to do swimming just to be a part so that East would have their own team. So Lynn is now the coach at Cherry Hill East. And she coaches a lady named Sue Ryback. And Sue Ryback is now the coach of Cherry Hill West, along with Scott Sweeten. And these people coach this year's 1998 team is undefeated. But their biggest thing isn't being a state champion, it's that they beat Lyman. Something that none of my teams ever were able to do. They beat Lyman. So Scott and Sue, I'd like you to talk a little bit about this year's current state championship team and the fact that in 10 years you'll be back and
just like to briefly thank Lynn. Lynn invited 10 members of our team and paid for our tickets. So ladies, if you'd stand up and be recognized as state champions this year. Unfortunately, we won't be able to stick around very long. A lot of them have SATs early tomorrow morning. So. But we try to, on our first dryland practice every year when we stretch in the lobby of the Jones Gym, we try to introduce them to the history behind Cherry Hill West athletics and swimming, and we have them look at all the plaques, of which some of you will be adding more to the lobby. We have them go into Jones Gym and look at the different championship banners, and this year they accepted the challenge to add one of their own. And congratulations to the 64-65 team. We were glad, Sue Flynn, that you were able to be there at our championship as an official to enjoy it, and also Barry Adamson. And we're glad that we were able to keep the great tradition of strong Cherry Hill West swimming alive. Thanks.
I'd just like to add, as a former swimmer for one of our honorees, who someday maybe. But I remember back, I graduated class of 1980 from Cherry Hill East at the school, and had the pleasure of being coached by Lynn, and also seeing Lynn McNitt over at Cherry Hill West and the influence that she had at West. I remember as a swimmer, every time we swam their team, she would give each of the teams an arm strength or something afterwards. I remember we had a spaghetti dinner at my house between the two teams at Cherry Hill West and Cherry Hill East, and the spirit of good competition and sportsmanship. And to this day, Lynn McNitt follows through that as a volunteer on the South Jersey Coaches Association, and spends many hours volunteering her time. And finally, after all these years, is going to be honored next season by having a JV meet being named after her or for her. And something that I think she's been trying to do that since I was swimming. And I think that's a real honor. And again, the team that's being honored, when I was a kid, I remember the 1974 team that won the state championship. Of course, my sister was on the East team that didn't win the state championship. But again, the competition was always friendly, and the sportsmanship was always there. And we try to honor that each year. And it was a really neat time this year with our state champions. And an undefeated season is something that's definitely a difficult thing to do. And congratulations to you. And thank you for having me. Co-captaining this team was Sue Howard. If you would come up, please, Sue. Now with Sue, my last year of teaching, I had some kid in my class named Flynn, and I didn't know he was at first, but there was a David Flynn who happened to be the son of Sue Howard. So Sue Howard's son ended up in my last year teaching in gym class. Brad, you lucked out. When I took over the team in 1960, whatever that year was, I don't remember as well, or keep times well, the head coach had been Pat Elder Hockey. And Pat Elder had been the one who started the swimming team for girls at Cherry Hill. Before there was a boys team, there was a girls team. And Pat is the one that started the team. So really the team was quote unquote mine for 1 year. But Pat, if you can come up please, Pat. Pat was the one who really started the team. Now Pat got married after 2 years of my being her assistant, and then she decided to have children and raise a family. But she never let me down. She never missed one swimming meet. She was there with this little bambino in a sombrero. At every swimming meet, we'd go over this lineup and everything, and she'd be there for these swimming meets. And the baby, I have never met him, I understand he's years old. And he never cried, never batted an eye, and the gun would be popping for the start of the meet. He just lay there, and the meet went on. So I guess he's a very classic young man, right? Hat hockey.
It was really fun to be able to stay around and watch Lynn and her team do so well that year. Part of my heart was my whole heart was with them the entire time because I really did know them all so well. And they were such a terrific team of young women. And they were so talented, but they could never beat Morristown. And then I retired, got a baby, and they beat Morristown. And so it was a wonderful thing. It was just an enormous thrill. And I kid my son now, who is, I won't tell how old, but that when he was in that basket, we said to him, don't you dare cry, or we'll throw you out. And he did, and he's wonderful. So, this was a terrific group, and thank you for including me tonight.
All right, could the rest of the team please come forward? And at this time, I'm just amazed at how many of you came. I'm just thrilled. I'm not speechless yet. So if you all come up, please. We have Las Vegas, Nevada here. Local person, Elkins Park. Sandy's from Chatham, Maryland. How my memory's doing here? This is all today. Lori, are you down? Atlanta, Georgia. How many Bulldogs? Yeah. Okay, are we all here yet? No. Come on down. Come on. Now I'd like to tell you an individual story about everybody, but then they'd really throw me out of here with a look. So I will not do that. I was going to ask them all to sing. It's okay. We're rough individuals and having a ball. So Cherry Hill High says, hi, you all. I can't say enough about these girls. They were wonderful then, they're wonderful now, and I just hope we can do this again in another 5 or 6 years because I'm having a ball. So, anybody want to talk over here? Okay.
All right, we'd like to thank you for this honor. The 65 girls swim team was the first undefeated swim team in Cherry Hill history. It was our team that ended Morristown's 98-meet winning streak, and then went on to be the first Cherry Hill team to win a league championship. But our season was about a lot more than just winning. It was also about the camaraderie, the friendship, and the fun that we all had. But the one thing I'd like to do for all of us is to thank our coaches, Mrs. Hockey and Ms. McNibb. They were the ones who took a group of individuals in a sport that really showcases individual talent and made us into a team so that we all work together to achieve our goals. Thank you very much.
Would Jane French come up here for a moment, please? Jane French is coming up here. One of my swimmers take a piece of paper that has the championship team picture on it, which is a piece of women's paper, photocopy. I showed it to somebody. The team's on it. The team's gone. Where'd it go? Barbara Young brought it for me. No.
I'd just like to take a minute to thank Jane French for all that she's done to help us
All right, thank you very much, ladies. We have the man from the class of 1974 in our audience this evening that we're very, very proud of. This time, he is president of our school board. Mr. Keith Herman, would you please stand up? For the highlight of the evening, it gives me great pleasure to bring to the podium the class of 1998 Athletic Hall of Fame honorees. Dr. Mickey Brulia, please come forward.
You know, there's a lot of tradition that you folks have created, gone through, your parents, and those of us that saw the township grow. Excuse me. A couple weeks ago, we were here honoring Tommy Trutman, and we have a member of Tommy Trutman's high school team tonight, which I was a coach, and we're going to honor him. Now, let me just give you a quick background. Tommy was blessed with the idea and the talent and the surrounding of some great people here in Cherry Hill, and they started their baseball background in Little League, and they moseyed on up into Williamsport. And they played in the national championship up in Williamsport. Now, eventually, these youngsters came back and began reality. And before you know it, here I had some of them in high school. Now, Ed Moffett, would you please come forward, please? This is an honor for Ed Moffett, but I just want to give you a little background here because Ed came down from Connecticut, and being a new boy on the block, had to prove his wares, so to speak. That didn't take very long. Now, Ed had some talent, and he also was a basketball player. So from basketball, he migrated over to the baseball program, and we went through his junior year and his senior year. Now, Ed married his high school sweetheart, Carol, and they have a couple of their children here now, which I'm sure Ed would make comment on. I met Ed's father, who was a president of a steel company over in Philadelphia. I was very impressed with his dad, and I didn't have to worry too much about what Ed was doing at home or after hours because Ed Moffett Sr. took good care of young Ed. Unfortunately, Ed's dad died about 2 years ago, and approximately about 7 months ago, he lost his mom. So he's gone through a little tough time, but family's helping him through that. Now, with 2 years of basketball and baseball at Cherry Hill West, he became a very formidable athlete. He was always a talented athlete, so that I knew that he could excel in college ball if he chose to go there. And I think it was a little after the time that I drove Tommy Troutman, Ian Kent, and Roy Heyman to Ohio University. And that was my alma mater. I was a new kid on the block among the coaches at Stanley because they were all Westchester guys. But by the same token, I drove Ed up to Rider College and had him meet Tom Petrov, who was an excellent coach at that time. Unfortunately, Eddie hurt his arm and didn't play a lot at Rider. Finished up his degree at Penn State. Is now working for a boiler company. He was also working for Fairfield Steel a few years. So he's had quite a record in terms of being with a lot of different companies. I asked Ed to wear his championship jacket tonight, so he chose his golf master's jacket. And he now is going to participate a lot more in golf, he tells me. Well, in the program booklet there, you can read a little bit about Ed's expertise with baseball. And he didn't tell me exactly a few things that he felt were really significant. He did tell me to make sure I mentioned that one night in a basketball game he scored 34 points. He didn't want me to tell the story about we only lost like 5 games in 3 years, and I coached each year, that is, 5, 5, 5, 5. And after those losses, we would have a little get-together. And, of course, we used the Hinchman Field, which most of you have no idea what that is. But it's right across from Hinchman Firehouse. And we knew when it was 3:45 because the whistle blew or whatever. But at any rate, we had this little gathering out there on the baseball field. And I guess it was after a loss. And Ed was the kind of guy that, you know, he was a young man of varied talents. Let's put it that way. So I have a real serious discussion going on about why we lost and what we got to do to correct it and everything else. All of a sudden, I feel wetness. And I turn around, and Ed has the hose. And he's hosing me. Like, coach, that's enough. You know? And meanwhile, it dawned upon me, yeah, I guess it is enough Ed. And I really, to this day, have to thank Ed for sticking the hose on me because we might still be out there. But Ed Moffett, I'm sure on behalf of the committee of the Cherry Hill Hall of Fame, your former catcher, Tom Troutman, that you have done real justice to entering this Hall of Fame. And we thank you for all of your contributions and wish you well.
Great honor. It's really due to Mickey and the team I had behind me. Mickey not only had winning records here at Cherry Hill, Delta Township, but he also went over to Brown College where he won 2 national championships, 500 games. Unheard of. When I came up and started playing for Little League, I guess I was about 10 years old playing West Point. And I fished through here one day. I fished through here one day and lost 14-0. I gave up 2 walks. I said, boy, this is rough. When I came down here from Connecticut, Fairfield, Connecticut, I lived up there and played 2 years of high school before I came down here. The team I was fortunate enough to play with, I called the Williamsport 2 years in a row, got beat in the final game. And this was a dream team for a pitcher. So it made my job easy. I just thank all of them because without them, I wouldn't have done it. I just thank them. Tommy, Bob Williams, Bob Cook, Harry Folks played on the team. So
This time I'm going to ask Sue Snow Hargraves, who will. I'm sorry. Sue Snow will present Sue.
I have to refer to my notes. You've done so much, I know I missed half of it. I'd like to welcome all of you who have come here tonight to join Sue Howard Flynn in celebrating her induction into the Cherry Hill West Athletic Club. For all of us who know Sue, one of her most outstanding traits is her modesty in talking about her accomplishments in the sports arena. She doesn't talk about them. At this time, I'd like to take a few minutes to tell you about some of her achievements over the last 40 years as an athlete, coach, and official. An easygoing, blonde, powerful swimmer and spirited cheerleader, energetic college gal. That was Sue's high school write-up in the 1965 Transcript. Actually, Sue's swimming career began at the age of 10 in 1957 at Kingston Swim Club, which is where I met her, and so began our lifelong friendship as Sue Howard and Sue Snow. For the next 10 years, Sue continued to swim for Kingston, CJ's, Cherry Hill High School, and Trenton State College, winning lots of ribbons, medals, and trophies. But she never boasted about her individual feats. Instead, she applauded the victories of the team of which she was a member and encouraged her teammates to do their best. In addition to varsity swimming in high school and college, Sue played on the varsity lacrosse and field hockey teams and was also a varsity cheerleader. At the age of 16, she became a lifeguard and gave swimming lessons and went on to coach for 6 years at Covered Bridge and Hunt Track. Upon graduating from Trenton State College with a degree in health and physical education, she began teaching at Harrington Middle School and is still there today, 29 years later. She has been a department coordinator for over 20 years, coached the field hockey team for 5, and is an intramural advisor. Sue Howard has also contributed hundreds of hours to community service. At Orton Swim Club, she was on the board of directors for 10 years, served as president for 1, and was a Tri-County rep for 8 years. She was president of Tri-County for 1 year, swim coordinator for 1. Somewhere in her busy schedule, she found time to complete the United States Swimming Certification, New Jersey State Interscholastic Athletic Association Swimming Official Certification, and Collegiate Swim Officials Association Certification. She then worked as a high school and diving official for 5 years, and as a collegiate swimming and diving official for 3 years. And any free time that she has found in the last 20 years outside the swimming pool, she has spent training as a distance runner. Sue has competed in distances of 5K, 10K, half marathon, and marathon for many worthwhile causes. Sue has also spent lots of time at CHHS working with the Lions Pride Alumni Association as a member of the Board of Directors and the Scholarship Selection Committee, the Cherry Hill West Athletic Hall of Fame, and the Parent Swimming Boosters. As you can see, Sue Howard has been a very strong pillar of the South Jersey swimming and athletic community for several years. Her energetic dedication and spirit of volunteerism are admired by all of us. It is one of my greatest pleasures, dear friends, to present you for induction into the 1998 Cherry Hill West Athletic Hall of Fame.
Thank you, Sue. Thanks to the Hall of Fame Committee for all of your hard work. Congratulations to all of this year's inductees, and a special congratulations to the 1964-65 Cherry Hill High School girls swim team for our induction. Like so many of your past inductees have mentioned, I too would like to express how fortunate I was to have grown up in such a great community. I've always felt so lucky to have been in the right place at the right time. In the 50s and 60s, our school system
start. Our teachers and coaches deserve so much credit for our success. And although I appreciate being honored tonight, more importantly, I came up here to thank them. Lynn McNitt, Pat Elder Hockey, and Sue Statius. You three women have no idea what a great influence you've had on me. I wanted to be just like you. And after a career choice that in 29 years I have never regretted, I can only hope that I've passed on to my students that same kind of positive experience that you gave me. I was especially happy when I found out a few days ago that the 1998 state championship team and their coaches would be represented here tonight. I had the privilege to be the referee at their final meet and enjoyed every minute. Our team's meeting tonight has added an extra special dimension to this evening. In coming together, we connect 33 years of our sport and demonstrate the strength of Cherry Hill, as I refer to us, a strong swimming community. I hope all of you carry your friendships and your love for swimming for as long and far as I have. I'd like to acknowledge the presence of my family, friends, and colleagues that are here tonight. I'm not sure if I should. A very rowdy table of teachers and administrators from the Harrington Middle School. They're like the bad kids in the room. My friends from Earlton Swim Club, my official friends Eileen and Barry, and my family here in front of me. My brother, Vince, and his wife, Gail, from Greensboro, North Carolina. Vince was an accomplished swimmer at Cherry Hill. He co-captained one of the best Cherry Hill boys teams, the 63-64, and swam at Wake Forest. My family, Marty, Lynn, who missed his first day of running in 27 years to be with us tonight. Brad and David, my sons, who Pat Fanning and Joyce Wilson assured me would clean up well and make me proud. Well, they're out of uniform tonight and into their banquet attire, so feel free to take all the pictures you can and just send me the negatives. And right in front of me, Graham. She is the current record holder for the most Cherry Hill swim meets attended. She has one more year remaining of eligibility because I still have one son that's swimming at Cherry Hill. Graham is my mom, and she gets a special thanks for all she has done for me. To all of my family, friends, and colleagues, thanks for all of the extra encouragement and support that you've given me. In closing, I'd like to answer a question from my friend and teaching buddy for 21 years. That would be our athletic director at Harrington, Paul Pappenberg. And I'll answer it the same way that the Boston Globe answered Virginia about Santa Claus. Yes, Paul, they really do induct cheerleaders into the hall. Thank you. That will go into the hall that Scott Sweeten was talking about. The picture of the bathing suit girl back there will not be the one that's in the hall. Thank you.
As mentioned, this graduating class, 1998, will be the 38th year that our district has been in the schooling business. 38 years. You look around, different towns for over 100 years. We're still through the formative stages of our entire educational system. And we're learning as we go. I can't think we're improving, especially when you see the results that you see this evening of these beautiful people. Sue Bell Statius will present Jacqueline Nelson Serbinsky. Sue?
Jackie, will you come up, please? Before I begin, I'd like to honor some of the people who coached with me in the 21 years that I was at Cherry Hill High School West. First of all, Pat Elder Hockey was my supervising teacher at Merchantville, and Pat and I are older than dirt, but we got pretty good. Likewise, Mickey Broya was my first boss, and Mickey, if you remember the first time on the job, I parked in Dr. Hanson's parking spot, and I was right next to the door, and he told you in the friend and said, would you mind telling the youngest Rose in your department to get her car the hell out of my spot? Because into that, I never parked there again. Mary Patrick, my dear friend, is here tonight, and she coached with me. Joanne Coyle and Peg, she left because I think she had to be the taxi driver or something. She said, let me get home. So it was a great memory to have all of these people here this evening with me. Okay, now I'd like to ask Jackie to stand up. Over here, Jackie. Jackie is a great athlete. She never in 4 sports at Cherry Hill High School West. The only other person I remember doing that was Kip Malik. And Jackie had the unique ability that was, I guess, God-given ability that she could do anything she wanted to. She had this innate ability that you didn't ever have to say to her, Jackie, you need to do this or you need to do this. That she knew exactly what to do. Jackie possessed all these fine qualities that made her an excellent athlete and that has made her the recipient of being inducted into the Cherry Hill West Hall of Fame. Certainly it was a pleasure to have coached Jackie. It was a very easy job because she knew what to do without you ever telling her. And her accomplishments have been many, both in high school and in college. And I'm a little bit jealous because I think she was better than I was. So it's with great honor that I induct Jackie tonight. Certainly I couldn't have asked for a better person to have inducted on this fine evening. So congratulations to Jackie. It's well worth your while to be in Cherry Hill High School West Hall of Fame.
I would like to thank the committee for this great honor. I would like to thank my family and my close friends for coming this evening and sharing this day with me. There's another person who I'd like to thank, and it's Pat Fanning Donnelly, who every time she called me, she said, it's Pat Fanning Donnelly. I said, Pat, I know who you are, and you don't have to keep saying Pat Fanning Donnelly. She called many times and I said, here I go again. I have my mother hen back, my past captain before me, and fellow troublemaker. I'm not going to tell you stories, Pat. But Pat was very good. In the last few months, she made a lot of phone calls. She always called me up, said, is there anything I can do? 2 days ago and said, are you ready? She said, you know you have to give a speech. And I said, well, you can stand up here with me and give it with me. But I do appreciate all the work that you have done. There are 2 people who had a very big influence in my life and helped me to get where I am today. First person is my mother. My mother was always very supportive of all the activities that I did in my life. Unfortunately, she could not be at all the activities because she was a very hard-working parent and gave the most she could for her children. She was a great listener. She was always very understanding. She helped me become a strong and independent person, and I thank you. Second person is my coach. And she is probably, that's Sue Station. She's probably the reason why I became a teacher. When I came to Cherry Hill, I came from a Catholic elementary school, and they only had basketball there, which I played. Coming to Cherry Hill and seeing all the activities and different sports that I could go into, try to do it all. I had some very great coaches who were very committed to their teams. Mary Patrick, Peg Jordan, Lynn McNitt. I saw these faces here, and it was really exciting to come back here. And even Red, who I always try to stay away from his office, because he was a disciplinarian. To make sure that I wasn't in there. But Sue she always brought enthusiasm and team spirit to her players. She also brought a lot of pain to her players. She made you toe the line, and when you didn't toe the line, her famous saying was, take a lap. And there were many of us who did take a lot of laps. She made sports fun, and we had a lot of winning teams. I appreciate all the things that she has given me, and I think she is a big reason, as I said, why I am where I am today. And I thank her. And I thank all of you for coming out this evening and supporting all the inductees, and I appreciate this honor. Thank you. First, may I congratulate all the inductees, and my thanks to Diane for allowing me the honor of presenting her for induction into the West Hall of Fame. It has grown into quite an impressive evening. For those here this evening unfamiliar with Diane's accomplishments, I would like to mention a few things not in the program profile, so that you will share our deep appreciation and gratitude for all that she gave to West, to our teams, and to the coaching staffs. Her high school career was filled with success. Her sophomore year field hockey, undefeated team, elected by her peers, female athlete of the year. I think that is in the program. I may overlap here a little. The leading goal scorer with 9 goals on a team which had 12 different players scoring. Her 69 junior year, this is field hockey now I'm talking, second leading scorer with 11 goals, and the team, incidentally, that 67-68 team was undefeated. The 69 team, her junior year, between Jackie Nelson and herself, 31 goals were scored by those 2 players. That team had a record of 11, 1, and 1. Her senior year field hockey, co-captain of the team with a 10, 1, and 1 record. Going on to basketball. Sophomore year, 67-68, 14-1 record for that year. Our one loss was to Gloucester, and I believe they were champs in their own league during that particular year. We're going back 30 years here. It's hard to pull some of these facts out of the almanac, fiction fact and almanac. 69, her junior year, 11-3. And if my memory serves me correctly, that basketball season only one opponent scored over 40 points on the team. 70, her senior year, 13-2. The only league loss was the East. And I think that just about broke their hearts. They wanted so very much to win that game that day. Diana earned varsity letters all 3 of those years, spanning 6 seasons of play. In case you haven't been counting, during those 6 seasons, just a grand total of 10 games lost. That's quite remarkable, really. I know Diane's first love was hockey, and is still hockey. But I think this anecdote speaks volumes about her competitive mindset, and I can thank Lois Rucci for this, because I guess I was just sort of oblivious to it. The incredible intensity and work ethic was just as much in evidence during the basketball season, though perhaps not her favorite sport, as on the hockey field. She knew she had teammates for whom it was a favorite sport, their first love. She gave full measure every single minute on the floor. Lois DeSantis reminded me of the day that Diane casually walked off the floor with "I'll be right back." Lois said she saw the finger that she thought was going 2 or 3 different directions, and she looked at her. There was not a tear in Diane's eyes when she returned a few moments later with every basketball player bag of ice somewhere along the line during the course of the week. I did not realize that she had sustained a pretty serious injury. She glossed right over it. There was skill, of course. She's a talented person. A special kind of skill, polished by perfect practice. Practice doesn't make perfect. Perfect practice makes perfect. I sort of try to think. And fully harnessed through an understanding, this was further nurtured with the deepest sense of commitment and those ever-present common denominators of determination, perseverance, and pride, all together in one high school athlete who took great joy in playing these games. I would be hard put, I think, to come up with some others. Well, there were some. But the sheer pleasure and joy of playing the sport, it was neat to watch them. I know Diane is coaching hockey right now and has for approximately 10 years, and I wish for her she continues this in her community. Athletes who possess the kind of love of the sport that she gave to West. You took a moment to go through the program profile. You did see where she has done this for about 10 years. She has taken all of these attributes that I have just talked about, transferred them into her personal life. She was a splendid athlete. She has a splendid family. She's done splendidly for her community. And it is just with the greatest pleasure that I present her to you folks tonight for induction into the West Hall of Fame.
Thank you very much. I'd just like to thank the board for the selection tonight and congratulate the other athletes that are here. It's wonderful to get this honor for doing something that was so much fun. My career in field hockey did end when high school ended, but I have been able to rekindle that love through coaching in my community, little girls grades 4 through 8. And I've had the pleasure of reliving the sport through my 3 daughters who also played. So I haven't totally left the sport at all. One of the things that I wanted to talk about tonight was while we were playing, the games in particular, I don't remember them. I don't remember whether the score was 1-0 or 5-0. What I do remember is the sportsmanship, what it was like playing on a team at West, how much fun we had together, and how much we learned from our coaches. I remember back to my sophomore year, and Sue Bell was the coach, and we had gone to hockey camp, and Constance Appleby was there, and if no one knows Constance, she brought the sport to the United States. So we had her on the field at camp, and we were learning all these really neat moves with the stick. There were no reverse stick moves back then, but she was teaching them. And we had these sticks where the toe was probably about this long, and if anyone knows hockey, the toe is about this long now, so you can do all kinds of fancy things with it. But it was becoming very frustrating, and Sue came out onto the field.
female coaches and the female athletes that were inducted tonight for helping to pave the way for someone like myself to become a coach and for my inductee tonight to become one of the best athletes that I ever had the opportunity to see. As you can see from the program, Sue had many, many accomplishments in high school and beyond in college. She not only played lacrosse, for which she was being inducted to tonight, but she played field hockey, basketball, and dabbled in track from time to time. She also went on to play after college in the West Jersey Lacrosse Association. She was an outstanding athlete for me, for West, for her family. She did a wonderful job with her quiet determination to do the best she could do. It was a great honor for me to have her as an athlete. I feel a special bond with Sue, mainly because we started out at West together. My first year teaching at West, Sue was a freshman, and along with the job came the freshman field hockey coach and the varsity lacrosse coach. So Sue helped me out more than she'll ever know as far as coaching is concerned and being a leader. She was a tremendous leader for the team and for the other girls around her. And I'm going to steal something from the... I would like to say that I feel through Sue's quiet determination that she not only performed to near perfection on the field, but could then, in school, write a delightful essay on the personification of a pencil. She was an outstanding student athlete. Even as a freshman, her flexibility as a player allowed me to use her as a goalie in our first state tournament, a position of which she had never played before. And not only that, but we showed up without the balls to practice with as we went over to meet Morristown in the first round of the state tournament. She did an outstanding job for the team that day. And I would like to, from the program tonight, one of her dear friends and also another one of, which I choose to say, one of my girls, could not be here tonight due to some circumstances. She said in her congratulations to Sue, tonight is a night for you to enjoy, a night for you to enjoy your moment in the spotlight. I feel fortunate to count myself among those able to share this time with you, your family, your friends. Sue, you deserve this and more. And it gives me great honor to introduce to you tonight the 1998 inductee for lacrosse in the Cherry Hill West Athletic Hall of Fame, Sue Rowland Phillips.
Although he is among the rest of my family, we don't understand that my participation in team sports was and still is so central to my being. That doesn't stop my brother from claiming credit for priming me for this award. That recent conversation got me to thinking, how does a kid arrive at high school ready to be coached? I'd always attributed my skills to my earliest memories of my grandfather. He would throw plastic hoops to me from his easy chair for just as long as I wanted. And now that I have a 4-year-old of my own, I realize it was probably a lot longer than he wanted. My brother caught me off guard after he mentioned all the times he shot baskets at the elementary school with me. What I remember was baseball catches for him in the backyard. I had to learn to catch them right so as not to get my hands broken. But I do remember the first thrills of catching a football thrown by my brother's friends in their street games and recognizing that the ability to catch was a social skill that made an impression. I guess I can admit now I did have a crush on the Lakers until I had to hit him because he was keeping my friend. He was the only boy I ever beat up. Or needed to. I was glad to play the stand with both of my brothers after that. They used me as a sacrificial lamb until I started getting more glory. Then I had to start out games with kids my own age. run wherever you think you need to be to, but don't let your girls score either. I had to fall back on my basketball experience. One of which was my basketball coach asking me daily during sprints, why don't you join track? Well, I did join track after 3 years of basketball. I never did understand what they were chasing though. I would just run for the ball, or to get to class, or work, or whatever. I must credit my earliest emphasis on running to my older brother, Steve. He's my biggest supporter in life challenges next to my husband now. Admittedly, I never understood track as a sport, but I guess everybody has something to run from, or gets chased. All I can say is I'm pretty sure Steve provided me with my need for speed at an early age. Let's not forget my mom, who is still not sure why they call them goalies if they don't score goals. She's not able to this Hall of Fame dinner right away, even though she wondered, why didn't they do this out during high school? My mom, well, she let me play, even provided me with equipment and picked me up sometimes. As most mothers, she contributed to the cautious and self-preserving mindset an athlete needs in order to boast an injury-free career. The only other thing that would have not let me play. Well, I guess I focused on family contributions tonight because at my age it's difficult to gather all your school friends in one place. I could never thank them all in a few minutes. I'm supposed to speak up here anyway. But I feel safe in saying that wherever they are, they already understand what it meant to me to have them as friends and supporters, sharing all that we learned about ourselves and life in the process of trying to make a better team. All these people in situations delivered to Cherokee West the kid who was right for athletic success. That original childhood thrill of impressing my brother's friends by catching that football through the trees or kicking the can to set them free had become indeed very central to my being and to self-actuating my ego. That old line rings true that I heard from so many coaches when they were asked, what do all these sprints have to do with the game? It builds character. I feel that fulfillment has been my rite of passage into adulthood, something the American culture has little formal ceremony for. It was fun reminiscing and contacting some of these friends and searching for scrapbooks and such. In doing so, I came across the only other speech I ever had to make in my life, thanks to the same lady who has me here tonight. In it, I thanked all my coaches for their time and patience in working with their players, and stated they each, in their own way, have been a strong, motivating force for me. I have learned much more from them than they could ever imagine. While I continue to use them as motivating forces throughout college, and if I get a chance to jog now or do a road, I just think of them and imagine they are watching and remember how much I just wanted to make it look easy. I wanted them to marvel at how easy it was for me, and then it was. For me, it would suddenly be easier knowing they were watching and wouldn't let me waste my time going in the wrong direction. This is the basis of the visualization technique, I guess. Go outside yourself and watch. To analyze, then alter and adjust. This is the coach's job, to be there, correct the picture over and over. And to care enough to do it consistently, if not constantly. Well, who would have thought I'd be back here tonight with an opportunity to say that the lessons learned were more than even I imagined. They were only a hint of the confidence gained that would carry me through many real-life challenges. The intensity of high school is truly appreciative. You hear of some teachers who excel and impact on their students. Now just think of the impact a coach can have. My neighbor, Dave Gerst, is the coach at girls softball at West Snap. He gleams when he talks about his girls. They're like a family, he says, and on, all to his amazement. It's strange to me to hear it from that side when I think about how much I needed the team sports and would hardly be me without them. I just smile because I can't begin to think of the words to explain how much those girls need him. If they are anything like we were, the extent they would go to pursue the mere smile are boundless. In you, they see a reflection of themselves. As a human mirror with a kind face, you affect change and growth on par with that of your own newborn baby. So to my coaches who are here tonight, Michelle the Art of Trotman, Lois Ricci DeSantis, and all the others, I just want to say thanks for being there in my formative years. Thank you, Ernie.
Dr. Ira Kozlov come forward and introduce his inductee, Jamie McGrory.
I'd like to also say congratulations to all our inductees here tonight. And also, I guess I'll be one of the culminating speakers here tonight, if I can do justice to the group that we have here. The honor in developing the Athletic Hall of Fame, and I wish all of you, and I know all of you have some vested interest in Cherry Hill High School West, which is now called, to stop by, as others have told you, take a look in the hallway. We're trying to develop a sense of history of the school, with a tremendous display of all the athletes whose plaques are here tonight, and all the ones that have been presented in the past. It's really a nice looking display, and we try to use it to try and encourage our younger people to do the kind of things that you've all had the experience of doing. And tonight I've had the opportunity to induct Jamie McGarty into the Hall of Fame. I had the chance to see Jamie develop from a frail underclassman to a true ambassador of the game. Believe it or not, when Jamie was a sophomore, he was sort of afraid to come out and play with the big boys. I know Coach Ray is here. We sort of got him involved a little bit, and from there we turned on a real tiger. Jamie has, and always will have, a passionate love of soccer and athletics. He was a cornerstone as West entered a new era of soccer. No longer was mere brute strength the way to success in soccer. In the mid-'80s, now became necessary to have a combination of skill as we learned a great deal of conditioning. Jamie was a tremendous tone setter. He was the kind of person who made everybody around him better. He set standards that the players today still try to live up to. He was an outstanding goal scorer, which was evidenced that one season he scored 24 goals. He had an uncanny ability to know where the ball would be and where the goal opportunity would come. He had and developed tremendous success in shielding the ball and protecting it from his opponents. During the 3 years he played varsity, he led West to top 10 finishes in all 3 years. We were well up there. He made West a program to be reckoned with. Upon graduation, he went on to Glassboro State College. At Glassboro, he was elected team MVP. He was the captain of the team, was selected All-State, All-Region, All-American. He was also selected the Player of the Year for the Eastern Region. And right now, he's the third all-time scorer in Glassboro history. Today, Jamie is an educator himself. He's also a coach at Delsey High School. He's the girls soccer coach. He's led the team to 5 league championships, 3 South Jersey titles, 1 state championship. He's been selected the Soccer Coach of the Year a few years back for his dedication and commitment, excellence, and passion. We're inducting him into the Athletic Hall of Fame. I know what this award means to Jamie, and I am honored as an educator to assist in enshrining him. Jamie McGarty.
First of all, I'm surprised I even was nominated because I used to date Mr. Jordan's daughter, Michelle, in high school. I'm surprised they allowed this to happen. First of all, I would like to thank the Hall of Fame committee who selected me. This is an honor that I never thought I would achieve. While I did have a great career at West, I chose to only play one sport. I did not get most of my exposure in the game until I went to college. Of course, a lot of that had to do with the fact that I was only 5'2" and 98 pounds as a freshman, as alluded to.
Thank God I was good at soccer. I would have been one of those kids at the bigger kids get wedgies to all the time. I've always been proud to say I'm a West graduate. It was an honor to wear the purple and white. As a matter of fact, my senior year was the first year that men's soccer team at West wore purple. Before that, we always wore blue. My greatest memory from West on the field was scoring the only goal in a playoff game when we played on our arch rival Cherryhill East. We won 1-0, and there was easily a couple hundred people there. I've been very blessed in many ways. First of all, God gave me athletic ability and a body that always stood up to the wear and tear associated with the sport of soccer. I was also blessed by playing on good teams and for good coaches. At West, the boys soccer team has a great tradition. When I was there, we were a good team, but we didn't have any great players, but somehow we always won. My senior year, we finished ranked third in South Jersey. And I think that year I was the only senior that went on to play college soccer. That in itself is a tribute to my teammates and my coaches. First of all, there's George Ray. He was our assistant coach at the time. George was the X's and O's man, and he taught me a little bit about the game, and he's done his best to corrupt me since I graduated from high school. George has become one of my best friends, and now I find myself teaching him now about the game a little bit. Dr. Kozlov, or Koz as we knew him, was our head coach. Koz has been a huge influence on my life. I had the opportunity to coach with this man for 2 years at West after I finished my eligibility at Glassboro. Those 2 years convinced me to go back to school and become a teacher and a coach. From Koz, I learned more than soccer. I learned about dedication, leadership, commitment, and teamwork. Playing for Koz was about more than wins and losses. Koz was very well known for his eccentric motivational speeches. One speech I remember was before a big game against Washington Township. We were sitting on the bus, we all got real quiet, waiting for his words of wisdom. And Koz starts off by saying, "Soccer is a microcosm of life." We had no idea what he was talking about. I couldn't even tell you what the rest of the speech was about. Another speech was one time, I guess it was my junior year, Koz was a little worried that our team was losing our chemistry. Koz brings us into a room and pretty much focused on myself and another teammate who were playing varsity. And he started by comparing our team to a pizza. He said that a couple of us were like sauce that was dripping off the side of the pizza. And for us to be the team we wanted to be, we needed all of the sauce on the pizza. Imagine us as high school kids trying to hold it in so we don't get yelled at. In college, I played for Dan Gilmore, who I'm very proud that he could make it tonight at Glassboro State College. Dan is one of the top winningest coaches of all time in the NCAA. I think he might be third of any college who has a men's soccer program. Simply put, Coach taught me how to win. He also taught me that that effort can overcome a lack of skill. When I played at West and Glassboro, I didn't have much skill, but Koz and Coach Gilmore allowed me to become what I am. They brought out in me heart, courage, and desire. That and the fact that I hate to lose at anything is what made me successful. As Koz said, I'm a head coach at Delcy High School now, and every day that I'm on the field with my girls, I think back to something that they either did or said. I hope they remember me as someone who gave their all every practice and every game. I hope they remember me as a winner. To them, I am forever grateful. To play on great teams, you need great people as teammates. In both high school and college, I've been blessed by playing with great guys. At West, it was Greg Tosi, Tim Broman, and Steve Cannon, two of which were able to come tonight. Greg, Tim, and I play indoor soccer together now, and it's a thrill for me to get to play with them again. 13 years later. In college, I got to play with guys like John Leacon and Chris Logar. I'm glad Chris is able to get here tonight. They were and are my best friends. They made college experience more than just going to school. The biggest blessing I've received comes from my parents. Most of you don't know me or my situation. I'm a triplet. My parents adopted all 3 boys when we were a year and a half. The adoption agency was about to split us up, and my parents decided they couldn't let that happen. So like idiots, they took all 3 of us. And even more idiotic, they went back a year later and adopted twin girls. They went to 5 kids in 1 year. Can't imagine. In my 31 years, I've never once thought about finding my real parents. That is because my mom and dad have always given me the love, support, and opportunity to reach my dreams. Everything I've done in this great sport of soccer and life, I owe to them. I am very proud to be selected into the Cherry Hill West Hall of Fame. This award is forever, and it is for them that I accept this honor, because for obvious reasons, I'll never know what my life would have been without these two wonderful people. Thank you, Mom and Dad. Thank you, everyone.
That ends our program. Just one thing I would like to say about the soccer program. We made a few changes a few years back. We hired a gentleman from New York by the name of Steve Reinhardt. Steve Reinhardt was different. You heard him say something about, oh, we're purple and white. Steve changed the colors. He liked blue. I went over to see a scrimmage over at Haddon Heights, second year of Steve's tenure. I couldn't find my team. They weren't there. This clown, yeah, that's right. This clown changed the color. He got excited one day. They lost a game. They're going around the circle, the racetrack circle. He stopped the bus, made them get off. They were going to run around the track and race back to the school. He was a real genius. He bothered me for so many years, and finally I got the opportunity to get rid of him. I had him hired at my college, Lafayette College. They gave him the job. Goodbye, Steve Reinhardt. Steve lasted up there 10 years. He's now at another school, but he is a good man. He loved soccer. He loved this school. He loved these kids. He passed it on to Ira, who never played a day of soccer in his life. But he had the main ingredient. Get to know the kids. Give them the challenge. Get out there and do the job. And it's been a lot of fun. And when you hear a kid like Jamie get up here, and some of the things that he said, I was there when this wonderful couple brought these 5 kids into this community. Set of triplets and set of twins. I thought that was a great thing. It's always a pleasure to know them. But that soccer program, I still have nightmares about it. But thank you ever so much for coming. I love you all because you love our kids.